Half the Eastern Football League and its finals partner Yarra Valley Water, welcome to Jubilee Park, Ringwood, for the 2012 EFL Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final between Montrose and Roeville. Montrose finished the home and away season in second spot on the ladder with 15 wins and 3 defeats. Roeville finished the home and away season in first spot on the ladder with 16 wins and 2 defeats. These two teams met twice during the home and away season. In round 3, Roeville won by 19 points. In round 11, Roeville won by 21 points. But Montrose progressed through to today's Choose Tap Grand Final with a 24-point victory over Roeville in the second semi-final. Roeville progressed through to today's Choose Tap Grand Final with a 70-point win over Mooroolbark in the preliminary final. Best of luck to both teams today. Our officiating umpires: in the field, Warren Hillier, Jordan Buckingham and Cameron Fazinski. On the boundary, Michael Brown, Matthew Larksonen, Callan Hare and Sean Wilson. In the goals, Greg Alford and Andrew Wasty. And our emergency is Bart Marscan. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the Australian National Anthem?
Very good afternoon and welcome to Jubilee Park in Ringwood for the Second Division 2012 Eastern Football League Choose Tap Grand Final between Montrose and Roeville. Montrose qualified for the Grand Final 2 weeks ago by defeating Roeville in the second semi-final, and Roeville had to do it the hard way. They came up against Mooroolbark last week, and it was a dominant performance from the Hawks in winning by 70 points against the Mustangs. It's overcast conditions, but the sun has come out just in recent minutes. We've had rain, pretty heavy rain at times in the last hour, but as it stands right now, conditions are fantastic for the Choose Tap Second Division Grand Final. My name is Brad Henderson. I'll be joined very shortly in commentary by the EFL Media Manager, Ben Waterworth, and also joining us this afternoon with his unique brand of special comments from the leader newspapers. Very good afternoon to Connor Ryan.
I think we're going to get a real spectacle today. I think it's going to be a very exciting, pretty hard-fought sort of game, and I really can't wait for it to get underway.
Yeah, apologies for my voice this afternoon. Just got a little bit of a bug going around, but otherwise should be good. And I think, Connor, we both saw Roeville last week. We both saw them in pretty awesome form. Obviously, the week before that, they went down to Montrose. Makes it a hard one to tip for mine, because Montrose have had the week off. Some teams really thrive well on that. Other teams just don't seem to handle it all that well. How do you see it panning out?
Yeah, momentum's a funny thing, isn't it, Brad? I mean, 2 weeks ago, Montrose looked by far the better side, but last week, Roeville was dominant, and they looked, I thought, like a Division 1 football side, the way they moved the ball and the way they made use of the wide areas out here at Jubilee Park. So if it's that Roeville that we see today, they're every chance of winning.
Probably a bit more experience, I suppose, in the Montrose side than Roeville. They are a very young team, the Roeville side, apart from obviously a couple of the veterans in Mark Hardy and Cody Morris, and I suppose they've got a clutch of players who you'd call young veterans. They've played plenty of football together. Montrose, most of their team have come up playing footy together over the last few years. under Nick Tennant, and then under Gus Garthwaite, and of course Troy Simmons last year, and now finally under Brett Johnson. So they've had a good education, a lot of these Montrose players. They've made a grand final last year where they went down to Lilydale. But I think there's no question they're much more ready today to win a premiership and go up to First Division than they were this time 12 months ago.
Yeah, I think experience is the key word. They've got experience in terms of age. That's going to help with the bigger bodies around the contest. They've got experience, games played. And they've got the experience of losing a grand final last year, which obviously not a great experience to go through, but I certainly think that it'll help them in this game and might be enough to get them over the line.
Well, a very good afternoon to Ben Waterworth. Joins us now in commentary, the EFL Media Manager. Good afternoon, BW.
Good afternoon to you, Brad Henderson. Good afternoon to everyone watching this back on the DVD. We're set for a big game. A strong wind going to the left-hand side of your screen, so looking forward to Montrose deciding to kick against the wind in the first quarter, which is a bit of an interesting call by Dean Stephen and the team, but maybe they want to come home
strong.
Maybe they want to come home with the win. I think Montrose probably just a bit more experienced, Brad.
Well, the siren sounds to get us underway in the Choose Tap Division 2 Grand Final as Big Andrew Haining goes up in the ruck for Montrose. It's Roville who get the first effective clearance of the game. Long kick was into the path of Scanlon. He dives for the mark. It's Jaden Weatherly who's got the job on Luke Scanlon to start with. And that's a big job because he's been in terrific form. Real live wire last week, Luke Scanlon, capable of kicking some pretty clever goals. Montrose at halfback. There's a free kick. It will go to Gardle. Gardle's kick was chopped off by Garner. Gardle goes in hard again, dives over the footy. The ball shoots out to Ryle, but it's going to have to come back. And it's a free kick to the Hawks through Stanley. Long kick out of bounds on the full. And the free kick will go in the back pocket to the Demons. Just
a quick matchup. The veteran Andy Nee will be lining up on Cody Morris to start things off. It'll be a big matchup today.
And I know it's good battle shaping up with Dylan Rickard squaring off against Matt Davey on the wing. That will be a contest to watch as the kick comes out towards the wing now for the Demons. It's with Watson. Mark Watson spears the kick into Rickard. Dylan Rickard back to Goodman. The same variety. Sam Goodman's kick was out into the path then of Cook, but in the end the boundary was beckoning. No score thus far. Minute and a half gone in the first quarter. Boundary throw in. Ball carried over the head then of the two competing ruckmen. Rickard puts his body over the footy, was well tackled. And it looks like we'll have a ball up. So no score thus far, coming up to 2 minutes in the first quarter.
And Roville have already got that one back in the goal square to put two blokes down on Schilling.
Dangerous spot here for the D's if they can get clean possession, I should say. They could be away, but Roville might win this one out. A little hand pass came out over the top and Rover away. Scanlon leads in this race, couldn't quite take the mark. Montrose have numbers at the fall of the ball. Great attack though from the Hawks. They pounce on the footy. And looks like we'll see a ball up. True centre wing position here on grandstand side. Ripper crowd for this Division 2 Choose Tap Senior Grand Final. Umpire Jordan Buckingham with the ball in hand. And he balls it up, and Haining clearly got the tap down on that occasion. Trying to burst his way through there was Dean Stephen, but to no avail. Stephen, a hot favourite for the Senior Division 2 Best and Fairest Award this season. Been in outstanding form, very consistent form. So hopefully he's set for a big game. Hopefully he can continue that form into today's game for Montrose's sake. Third man up, big thump forward for Roville, up towards the half forward here. Trying to gather it there was Mitch Garner, but he was thrown off the footy, and now Johnson works his way through for Montrose. Got a little hand pass out, and they're away on true centre wing position. And the mark's being taken here by Brett Johnson, my apologies. Now goes inboard, and there's got an opportunity here for Sam Goodman. Kick, just a little off balance there, and he goes out wide. Swooping on it there is Beninga. He was swooped upon and couldn't quite get a clean hand on the ball. Players go back to go forward. And Rover look like they got the numbers on the outer side, and they'll go for a searching kick towards true centre wing position. Mason Crozier, he'll see it over the boundary line. And out of bounds, we've gone just under 3.5 minutes. And we're still yet to see a score in this Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final.
No score yet, but a nice open start to the game so far. A bit of a contrast to 2 weeks ago when it was pretty tight early on.
Ball comes to ground. Scanlon was there, got a little kick forward to no avail though. Nice pressure there from Gardle. Gee, he's been really good this season and showing it early. Accelerates off half-back now and kicks in towards the middle of Jubilee Park. Who's going to win the foot race? It might be Roval here. If they can gather their away, here's an opportunity for the Hawks. Long kick inside 50. Scanlon's at the back. He might wait for the crumbs. He gets the crumb. Can he get a quick snap on goal? He can't. Montrose rush it through for the first minus score of the game. And it's Roval one behind. Montrose yet to score. 4 minutes gone in this grand final.
Goodman, Jai that is, brings the ball back in. Montrose struggling to move it out of their defence. Garner for the Hawks. Beautiful pass. And he hits Cody Morris on the chest. Cody Morris coming off a 6-goal performance last week against Murrelbach. And we've spoken about it all week in the EFL media, the fact that if he starts well, gets a bit of confidence up, he can really do damage. We did see that last week against Murrelbach. 3 goals in the first quarter. And he's got a chance to kick the first goal of this grand final, almost 5 minutes into the game. Deliberate approach, usually a pretty safe kick. Angle will test him. Won't quite make the distance, in fact, falls just short. Plenty of Demons defenders back there. Out of defence they come, Weatherly. Short pass was clever, and it finishes up in the hands of Sam Rickard. So Sam Rickard just assessing his options. Banks the kick to the wing position. 2-on-1 contest favoured the Hawks. Kinder got a hand to it. Came off hands to Edwards. Over the top to Watson. Watson's long kick. Open goal square beckons. It bounces across the face of goal. And Damien Garner pretty content, I think, in the end, just to watch it find its way over the boundary line.
It was great work there from Adam Cook in that 2-on-1 situation here on the wing to get that ball, get the win there and get the D's forward.
Back into play. Haining won the tap down. Quick kick out of the pack was by Sam Goodman, and Schilling's taken a great mark in a one-on-one contest there with Willoughby. Great strength shown by Billy Schilling.
It's something he did 2 weeks ago as well, Brad. He was very good from behind in the marking contest. He reads the ball very well and uses his strength just to body out his opponent, and those long arms are able to reach up and pluck the ball.
He's going to be forced to kick from a pretty tough angle. Goes with the check side, and he's well and truly put it across the face of goal. Out of bounds on the full. I think he'd be a little disappointed with that effort.
Maybe a bit of nerves shown by the 2 key forwards early on. 2 shots at goal, no score from either.
Looks as if we've got a blood rule. Luke Scanlon will come off.
Got a fair way to run.
Yeah. It's a big ground here at Jubilee Park, of course, and it's going to be a good matchup, that one. Gavin Willoughby with the big job on Billy Schilling. Willoughby last week, Connor, of course, played on Talevski. Certainly took the honours in that battle. Talevski just never really got a sniff of it all day.
I reckon he might have had 1 kick for the day, and it was pretty late in the game too. So it was a good old bath that Willoughby gave him, but different story today. And I think the service will be a lot better coming from Montrose's midfielders than it was from Murrelbach's.
So, ball brought back in by Willoughby now. Thumping kick, but it's well marked by Goodman. Jai Goodman sends the kick forward off hands to Edwards. Little handball was clever. Finishes up in the hands of Rickard. Sam Rickard's shot at goal has split the middle, and the Demons strike first blood. 5-point lead for Montrose in the Choose-Tap Second Division Grand Final. Great goal there by Sam Rickard.
It was a great goal, and I think another good sign from Montrose is that they've got numbers around the contest. They seem to have that extra man there ready to run and move the ball quickly, and the fact that Coach Brett Johnson's been pretty busy early on is another good sign for the D's.
The 40-year-old Mark Hardy makes his way onto the ground. He replaced a man half his age in Matt Davey. Pretty phenomenal effort by Mark Hardy to run out for the Roval Football Club today. And they might be able to get a clearance here with Roval as Jackson got a sweeping hand pass over the top and a high kick towards Morris. Used his body well, couldn't quite take the mark. Montrose will look to come out at defence now. They've had probably the slight edge so far as the ball comes out towards true centre wing. The coach Johnson picks the ball up and chips it over the top, but it's a poor kick. He was looking for Watson, but the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full. And the way the wind's blowing, that's not the side of the ground you want to play today. So the Hawks bringing in towards true centre wing position. Kick short to Sean Makers, who's been in excellent finals form for the Hawks of late. The big ruckman Plays on quickly. Shank off the boot up towards the half-forward area. No mark taken there by Crozier. Players conversion the footy at true centre half-forward now. We'll see a ball up. Montrose 1 straight 6. Roval 1 behind. Just under 9 minutes gone the first term. Ball up. Schoenmakers flew once again. Got the tap down. Quick kick came out there from Hicks up towards half-forward, but Montrose have the numbers at back and they're away. If they can get a clean mark here and hold, they do. Little chipping ball over the top. Might work out okay here. The kick came out from Rickard. He finds that man in Garthwaite. Assesses his option now. And this goes very high up towards right half forward. No one able to quite take it. Ball comes to ground now. Giorgio was there, but picking the ball up was Sam Goodman. Handball was smothered off the boot. And umpire says, I'll have the footy, gents. 70 metres out from the Montrose goal.
And another big contest from Cook there at half forward as well. It's going to be very important today.
So Cook will go up in this ruck. He was beaten that time by his Roval opponent, but Montrose have the numbers at the back. The quick kick forward, that time from Garthwaite, trying to find a teammate he might as well. The kick from Stephen up towards full forward, Schilling at the back. Can he take the mark? Umpire's pulled out a free kick, and it will go the way of the Hawks at full back. It's Gavin Willoughby who's got it, and he's got the match up on Schilling. He goes out wide. Kick towards true centre wing position. Nice use of the body that time from Crozier. Can he pick the ball up? Was met solidly by his Montrose opponent on that occasion in Michael Barney Edwards. And we'll see a ball up. Just ticked on 10 minutes. And it's still Montrose 1 straight 6. Roval 1 behind here in the Choose Tap Division 2 Senior Grand Final.
Thanks very much, Benny. Back into play now. The boundary throwing. Quick kick came out of the pack from McEwen. And it hits Hicks on the chest. Nathan Hicks wheels around, looks for a target in Stanley. He's certainly been dangerous up forward this year, Matt Stanley. Can't quite get his hands on it on this occasion. Rickard comes away for Montrose through the middle of the ground. Loose footy now, who can take possession. Was shot out nicely then. I think it was Condello who got it out to Garthwaite. Garthwaite's kick came off the side of the boot towards the boundary and finally taken over then by Adam Cook.
Just a quick one, Connor. I know it's not showing the scoreboard at the moment, but Montrose seem to be coming out of their back line with for the fair bit of ease at the moment.
Yeah, using that loose man well, and I wouldn't be surprised to see if that's Jai Goodman down there because he did it very well 2 weeks ago, and he'll be key to Montrose's hopes today.
Johnson got it from Rickard. Kicks up towards the forward 50 now. Cook swoops on the footy. Sends it around the corner, 2-on-1 contest. It didn't favour Montrose, but Billy Schilling said, I'm going to mark it anyway. And in a pack of 3, he stood tall. Great one grab mark. She's been impressive early, and I think you'd have to figure, Connor, he'll learn from his earlier lesson, and I think the conventional drop punt will be the way to go here. Yeah,
not an easy end of the ground to kick to on this day, but we just saw it again, how well he reads the footy. Just never took his eyes off it, and he's got really long arms, and he takes the ball at full stretch, and it's very hard to stop when he can do that.
Yeah, doesn't he look fit as well? Billy Schilling's kick. This time he split the middle, and Montrose get their second goal on the board. Billy Schilling has his first. And the Demons lead by 11 points in the Choose Tap Second Division Grand Final.
And the thing that impressed me most about Schilling a couple of weeks ago wasn't just his work in front of goal, but he was very mobile, and he was pushing up outside the 50 and taking marks across half forward and really being a link for Montrose in getting the ball inside 50. And if he can do that today, as well as kick goals like that, you know, from 2-on-1 contests, I mean, that's just a massive advantage for the Ds.
The young man who traded kilos for goals has got off to a great start in this Choose Tap Grand Final, looking dangerous, and he puts Montrose second on the board. They're up by 11 points, 12.5 minutes gone in this first term. As a secondary ball up in the middle. Ball comes to back, tapped on towards the advantage. Johnson could almost get and go here. Got a little hand pass over the top to Edwards. Short chipping ball over the top was good. Here he is again. Schilling takes the mark, left forward pocket. We'll have about 35 metres to cover, but he's on the right side for a right footer this time. Let's see if he can put this one through.
Yeah, it'd be really tough from that pocket with the conditions the way they are, but maybe we can have the confidence up after the last one, see how he goes.
Well, he's a confidence player, Billy Schilling, and this will get the confidence right up and Montrose's confidence right up. The kick on goal doesn't look too bad off the boot. It'll probably just fall short. Big fly over the top. Not quite able to be taken on that occasion by Jack Garthwaite, and it's gone through for a rush behind. Montrose's first blemish on the scoreboard, 2-1-13 to Roval, 1 behind. 13.5 minutes gone in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final.
So Bussy to bring the ball back in. for the Hawks. It's usually a pretty good kick. To the outer side, Crozier was the target. The ball just slipped through his hands.
That kick out would have travelled about 65 metres too, just off one step.
He got heaps of distance then as the Demons bring the ball back in. Haining takes the mark. Big man Mountain dishes off the little handball. Short pass is on. It was intended for Condello, but he was spoiled. Loose footy now. Frawley paddled it on. Goodman, who's been really good early for the Demons, goes short, goes laterally with the pass. Ball inside forward 50 now for Montrose. And there will be a free kick. It's going to the Demons.
High fend, I think.
And plenty of discussion. The umpire really being forced to explain his decision there. But it is a free kick to Montrose.
Also giving plenty of time for Roeville to flood back and get numbers down in that forward 50.
So Jaden Weatherly probably just outside his kicking range. He'll kick it pretty much right on the 50-metre arc. Bit of a floater. And he's well and truly off target, out of bounds on the full. So free kick goes to the Hawks in the back pocket. And it will be Gavin Willoughby, who's hard up against the behind post there. Left footer. Willoughby. Searching kick. Haining had front position. Palmed it down to Rickard. Davey tries to set off. He's tackled well there by Langdon. And the umpire says he had it for long enough. No, in fact, must have just gone over the boundary line. So, boundary throw in. Will be Haining against Schoenmakers in the ruck. Schoenmakers actually won the tap this time against his much bigger opponent. Frawley got it to Hardy. Out to Scanlon. Rickard to Johnson. Edwards paddled it out, finishes up in the hands of Watson. Lovely kick by Watson, as is usually the case. Powell's clearing handball was effective to Allen, but he just coughed it up. Bit of a high handball in hope. And finally, a ball up is the result. In fact, no, it'll be a free kick to the Hawks. So they're struggling to get it out of that half-back area at the moment. Matt Davey has his hands on the footy. Goes short. It was intended for Walsh. Carried over his head to Makara. Out to Frawley. Demons. It was a pretty intricate little kick. Probably a bit too cute in these conditions. Probably not advisable, but they've managed to scrounge a free kick out of it, which will go to Watson. And as I mentioned, Mark Watson is a beautiful user of the footy. Nice pass to Rickard. And Dylan Rickard safely manages to reel in the mark. And he was a member of the SEN Team of the Year last year in second division. And it's been a great thing for the Montrose Footy Club to see him come back into the fold in recent weeks.
And you'd have to say after 17 minutes, I mean, it's really been all Montrose, hasn't it?
It has. But it's, apart from the first couple of minutes, it really hasn't gone inside the forward 50 for Roeville. So Dylan Rickard. Gee, it's tough conditions kicking to that end. What's he done? Now,
is it a 25-metre penalty?
Might have paid a 25.
Yeah.
It's going to have to come
that's
back.
unforgivable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gee, so it goes from being a pretty hard shot at goal, which really would have tested him, to now just a straightforward soda from straight in front. No, he's still going to be on an angle, but you expect him to still kick this goal. So Dylan Rickard for goal number 3 for the Demons. Walks in and makes no mistake. 3 goals on the board now for Montrose. And they lead 3-1-19 to Roeville, 1 behind in the Choose Tap Second Division Grand Final.
And that's a gift, isn't it? I mean, Paul Minor will be tearing his hair out after seeing that one, because that's a dead pocket to kick from, kicking right into the teeth of that breeze down there. So to give an advantage like that is a crime. But, I mean, 3 goals into the breeze for Montrose to nothing. I mean, they're flying at the moment.
A heavyish drizzle starts to make its way across Jubilee Park as the wind starts to howl towards the left to screen, but it doesn't
worry Montrose. It's a high kick forward by Watson towards St. Truson half forward. Rover will look to rebound off half back now. They kick to space. It'll just stop in the Jubilee Park service and they might win on. Oh, beautiful Kudafiti's like pick up that time from the Hawks in that situation by Davey. He might be called for holding the ball. Umpire said no. He rewarded that one-handed pick up and we will see a bounce true centre wing position.
He certainly did reward, and great pace shown by Davey as well. Really got a couple of metres on him in a really short time.
Had an outstanding 2012 season, as is this man, Jaden Weatherly. He goes up towards true centre half forward. Cook couldn't quite take them up, but provided a contest. Then got the crumbs. Then kicked to Billy Schilling, who couldn't quite take the mark, but might win himself a free kick.
Yeah. Ooh, gone the other way.
Or not. Gavin Willoughby will be the recipient for a bit of holding. Willoughby's kick up towards the back pocket will be marked, and they'll move it across the outer side, and here's Hardy, who takes the mark, playing game 377 this afternoon, Mark Hardy. He goes long, up towards Crozier, was beaten that time by his Montrose opponent, and we'll see a ball up right in front of the Jubilee Park scoreboard, which reads Montrose 3-1-19, leading Roval 1 behind.
And every stoppage in that wing area is a win for Montrose because it gives them a chance to set up down back, and more often than not, they'll drop one out the back as well.
Well, Montrose might be able to get another clearance now as a handball comes out. They're off and running through the middle of the ground. Dribbling kick was looking for Sam Rickard. He got a little hand pass off. Good running as well. Montrose kick inside 50 behind Cook. Now here's an opportunity. Handball comes over the top. Here's an opportunity for that man in Stacey, but he was caught, and Roval will look to rebound from their right back pocket. It's Montrose 3-1-19. Roval 1 behind. Almost 20 and a half minutes gone.
It is, as McEwen sends it up towards half forward. Frawley was the target, had Davey at the back. Davey swoops on the footy now, shares it with Frawley. Little kick over the top into open space. Who'll get that, lead the race to the footy. Morris it was, and he's got a free kick. Hawks won advantage, but that was a long time after the free kick was paid. So the free kick will go to Cody Morris.
Yeah, pretty clumsy work there from me. I think got into his back and drove him into the turf and made it pretty easy for the umpire who was right there.
He did indeed. And Cody Morris will have a shot pretty well from straight in front. He's probably going to be about 35 out when he kicks it, but certainly back him in from here.
Well, you called him a confidence player earlier, so we'll see how much that first shot on goal plays on his mind. But I mean, the Hawks are desperate for this one. With that rain coming down, every goal against is going to come even more precious.
So Cody Morris walks in, fires at the goals, looks good off the boot, and Cody Morris kicks the Hawks first. They desperately needed it just to stem the tide a bit and get that first one on the board, break the duck. And so the first one on the board now for Roeville. 1-1-7, Montrose 3-1-19. 12-point lead to the Demons as the rain becomes quite heavy here at Jubilee Park.
Well, that's it, Brad. The hope for the Hawks is that goal will help them settle a bit and maybe get into their own style of football and hang on to it a bit more, because they've struggled to do that so far.
Pull back in the middle. Haining was the man. Again, went up against Mitch Garner, but Roeville might be able to rebound this one, but the ball's going to be very slippery now, so it'll be hard to possess. The heavily skilled players will be able to win the ball now as it comes out. I'm not able to quite take it. Davey picked it up for Roeville. Went up towards half forward. Beautiful pick up in the wet as the wind and rain has tumbled down. Morris picks it up. He's already got one. Beautiful sweeping hand pass over the top to Hicks. Can he pick it up? Scanlon's there as well. And both players see it over the boundary line and out of bounds 20 metres out from goal. I'm glad I'm not a boundary rider for Radio Eastern today.
And you can see how strong that wind is with the rain coming in absolutely sideways as well.
So you can probably see umbrellas on that outer side are struggling to stay in one piece at the moment. Can Roeville convert here and make it 2 goals in a row? Scanlon, a high kick towards goal from Luke Scanlon, hits the post.
Oh. The wind almost did that one itself, didn't it? It was tracking towards the point post and almost floated home.
Roeville 1-2-8, Montrose 3-1-19, 23 minutes gone in the Division 2 Senior Choose-Tap Grand Final for season 2012.
So the ball comes back in for the Demons, and it's with Dean Stephen. One of 3 Demons in this team who were in the SEN Team of the Year last year. Goodman and Rickard, the other 2. Excuse me, Jai Goodman and Dylan Rickard, that is. And Fraser Pope was the 4th player from Montrose's team last year who made the SEN Team of the Year.
I reckon there'll be a few new faces in that side from Montrose this season.
I reckon.
I think it was 7 named in the squad, in the initial squad the other night.
More of any other club. Yep.
So the Demons through the middle now. Goodman, high up and under kick. Johnson working hard on hands and knees. Geez, good at that. Johnson again extracts the footy, shoveled it out to Goodman. Sam Goodman's kick doesn't have the legs on it. Despairing fist on the last line of defence from the Hawks. It paid off.
It's a magnificent punch.
Nice kick by Ryle. Clearing the area, but it's marked by Garrity, who puts himself under a bit of pressure. High up and under kick. Drifts across the face. Plenty of Hawks back there. Allen to Garner. Damien Garner, who's a thumping kick. This is no exception. Hicks was the target, had Lindgren in opposition. Well played then by Jason Lindgren, over the top to Stephen. And is it still in play? There's a free kick.
Free kick against Roval.
Bit of holding on too long, perhaps.
Yep.
So free kick goes to the Demons. Short pass was a poor one. It was intercepted by McEwen. Lindgren. Bit of a floater. Into open space, into the path now of Cook. Adam Cook's kick inside the forward 50 for the Demons. Dylan Rickard there's tackled by Willoughby. Good, strong tackle. What does the umpire says? He says, ball it up. And it's one of those times the umpire called for the whistle just as the ball spilled clear. Now there's a free kick, though, going to the Hawks. Comes out to Jackson. First time we've called him today. He's usually pretty much a prime mover for the Hawks, but a quiet start today. This is knee. Back pedals with the handball to Gardle. Nice pass from Brendan Gardle to Stephen. Dean Stephen tries to measure the kick. And it was intended there for Schilling on a long lead, but Jackson had that kick well and truly scouted.
I don't know about you, Connor, but I reckon Schilling probably needs to come up the ground a little bit more, because at the moment he's drawing about 3 players every time the ball goes forward.
And also a bit of an injury concern for the Ds with Dylan Rickard holding on to his shoulder or possibly collarbone with the trainer coming off towards the bench now.
Boundary throw-in went over the head of Andrew Haining, and Dean Stephen almost got a high knock to the head, but not on that occasion. The umpire says, give it to me. See a ball up, true centre wing position. Montrose 3-1-19, leading Roval 1-2-8, 26 minutes gone. No free kick, no hit out for either team there, but they might be able to bum this one back forward. It's Robbie McEwen towards a 2-on-1 situation in favour of Montrose. A shepherding free kick will be going the way of Montrose. And Matthew Langdon to bring it off right half back. He's got a few free players in the middle. A dangerous kick almost over the head of Scott. They might cough the ball up here. Scott did well to keep his feet and shepherd. He was run down from behind though by Damien Garner. Forces the turnover. Here's an opportunity for Davey. Couldn't quite take the mark, but did well to bring the ball to ground. Here's Stanley. He likes a goal. He might win himself a free kick for in the back. Umpire Jordan Buckingham said no, but the other officiating umpire said yes. So Matty Stanley put his head over the footy, either a high free kick or a push in the back, and he will look to go back and put Roval's second consecutive goal on the board.
Yeah, kind one from the umpires there. He maybe their friend down here, the vision obstructed or something, but his mate helped him out. And look, if Stanley kicks this, I think Roval would be very happy to go into quarter time trailing by only 5 points. That'd be a win considering how things were going earlier.
Yeah, absolutely, particularly after that start. So Matty Stanley, been in outstanding form, and that is not an outstanding kick. It's off to the left, and Roval going to 1-3-9, trailing Montrose 3-1-19, just ticked over 27.5 minutes gone in the first term in this Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
So the Demons ready to reload once more from the kick in. And the umpire finally calls play on to Beninga. Big high up and under kick. Langdon over the footy. And the umpire right on the scene will ball it up. No, he won't in fact, because the siren beats him. And that completes a pretty low-scoring first quarter. Montrose certainly got the better start of the two sides. Roval did hit back with a late goal in the term. And in quarter time in the Choose Tap Second Division Grand Final, it is Montrose. 3-1-19 to Roeville, 1 goal, 3-9. 10-point lead to Montrose at quarter time. A 10-point lead for Montrose heading into the second quarter of the second division 2012 Choose Tap Grand Final. And in that first quarter, they kicked 3-1-19 to Roeville's 1-3-9, with goals kicked by Billy Schilling, Dylan Rickard, and also Sam Rickard, while for Roeville, Cody Morris kicked the only goal of that first quarter for the Hawks. It is the Demons kicking to the left-hand end of screen in the second quarter. They get underway now. Inside forward 50. Little handball there from Powell. Got it to Giorgio. And over the boundary line. So, be a boundary thrown right on the 50-metre arc here for Montrose. Billy Schilling was the forward who certainly loomed largest in that first quarter. Only kicked 1 goal. He did have a chance to kick a couple of others as well.
And you've seen James Powell just drop back there into the hole to try and help out Willoughby on in slowing down Schilling's quarter.
Back into play. Frawley tried to get a little handball out to Makara. There's a lot of names, I guess, for the Hawks who we didn't really mention too often in that first term. Frawley was one of them. Little kick up towards half-back now. Weatherly dives over the footy. Frawley out to Scanlon. Seemed to possibly be in his back there, Brett Johnson, but I think the umpire certainly was blindsided, but in any event, probably paid the right decision or non-decision on that occasion. Sam Goodman coughs up the footy. Davey over the top to Scanlon. Back to Davey. He does have that burst of pace, and he uses it now. Matty Davey. Neat left foot pass. It was effective. Onto the long lead from Morris. Morris just pokes it very short to Crozier. Back to Morris. Morris forced onto his left foot. Long kick to a 2-on-1. Garner was the target. Plenty of Demons back there. Scott will clear. Josh Scott up towards Edwards.
Fair
and
kick.
Barney Edwards in the middle takes the mark. Doesn't waste any time. Quickly plays on. Brett Johnson was the target. Ball paddled out to Davey. Davey is beset upon by 3 Demons. And it will be a ball up. Wing position here at Jubilee Park, with Montrose still leading by 10 points. No change since quarter time.
2.5 minutes gone as Schoenmakers and Haining went up in the ruck. And we'll see another ball up. True centre wing position here on the grandstand side. Fantastic crowd assembled here at Jubilee Park to see what has been a real tight arm wrestle in the opening 30 or so minutes. As Montrose bringing it out towards true centre wing position. Weatherly did well. Kept his composure and got a little hand pass back, and it might end up in their hands, but just slipping through there to Mark Watson. He was legged, was that player in Jake Ryle. And he's got the footy right in front of us here in the broadcast position. Hope you're enjoying this DVD coverage. Ben Waterworth, Brad Henderson and Connor Ryan with you. High kick up towards Walsh. Thumped away from him that time by Jai Goodman. Players converge on the footy. And we'll see another ball up. Montrose by 10 points. Kicked against the wind in that term. Now with it. Let's see if Roeville can capitalise against the wind. Keep that momentum going over the boundary line. And out of bounds once again, 45 metres around from the Roeville goal. Just going through those goal kickers, one each to Dylan Rickard and Billy Schilling and Sam Rickard for Montrose, and of course one to Cody Morris for Roeville. Haining got the tap down. And it might work out okay as Montrose look to bring it along the outer side, just wide of Scott. Might work out okay here for Jackson. Tucks it under the arm and just accelerated away. Takes a bounce. He can run to 50, but slipped out of his hands as he went for the bounce. Then kicked off the ground to try and make amends. Won't make amends with that effort though, as Montrose look to bring it around. Tap forward and a thumping, clearing kick out towards true centre wing. Will go out of bounds on the full, or no, mark taken inside by Billy Schilling. And he brings it inboard to Brett Johnson. He goes right into the middle of Jubilee Park. It's a good one as well. Finds Rickard. He'll further switch. And an opportunity here for the D's. Mark taken by Stephen. He's got options inside 50. Cook comes out, leads, and almost a Tubby Taylor-like slips catch. And we'll see a boundary throw in 35 metres around from the Montrose goal.
And we've seen it a couple of times earlier in this quarter. It looks like the D's are going to be very conscious in trying to switch the ball out to this wing, this near side, and try and make the use of that wind heading inside 50.
Cook went up in the ruck, which means that Powell's be free here. If the Hawks want to go back to go forward, won't matter, because we got over the boundary line and out of bounds. But the umpire said that man in Rye was slung after the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds. The umpires, I should say, have been red hot on that throughout season 2012, as they should be. Very dangerous act. So Roval will look to bring it across their half-back line. Max Makara, chipping ball over the top to Frawley, right in front of us here, in front of the grandstand. He goes further afield towards a one-on-one contest, thumped away by the Montrose defence. They've got numbers at the back here. Nicely done from Lindgren. Gets a hand pass back, and it ends up in the hands of Brendan Gardol. He'll go into the middle. He's got options. Montrose is working that a little bit harder at the moment. Edwards got a hand pass up, went past Stephen, and now they might be able to make them pay. Garner was slung off the ball, didn't dispose of it properly, and Montrose will be rewarded. The sweeping hand pass might end up in the hands here of Montrose. Scott put his head over the footy and won himself a free kick. 50 metres out, directly in front. He's got a decent breeze to kick with, probably a little bit more across the ground now. He decides to chip it short. It's a poor kick, but it should have been marked. It might be costly, though, because running into the open goal is an opportunity for the D's, and it's off. And that kick came at that time from Michael Edwards, and a minor score for the D's. They're second, 3-2-20 at Montrose. Roval, 1-3-9. Almost 6.5 minutes gone here in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
Yeah, they're going to have to be very precise going forward, Montrose, because Roval have got a man back behind the footy. Jay Kinder appears to be falling in front of his full back line there, but they'll have a couple back if they can set up at those stoppages.
So Bussy brought the ball back in to Hardy, and it's in the back pocket now. High kick towards the half-back flank. Taking possession was Ryle, did really well, got it to Walsh, but Walsh's kick was not a good one. He puts it out on the full, and the free kick goes to Jason Lindgren for Montrose.
I wonder how many times we're going to see the ball go out of bounds on that far side before the teams realise they should be playing this near wing.
Yeah, they get sucked into that the wide open spaces on that outer side, but it's not as wide as you need it to be sometimes, as the mark drop there by knee. Should have held it. Davey goes to ground.
Good recovery by knee.
Kick comes forward. This looks good for the Demons. Mark taken just outside the forward 50. Johnson's kick now is intended there for Garthwaite over the back. Pretty well played by, I think it was Schoenmakers for the Hawks, and he finds the boundary line. So boundary throw-in, 11-point lead still for Montrose. Broadcast side of Jubilee Park. Allen almost seemed to get high. Garthwaite paddled it out to Cook. Schoenmakers, strong tackle. The umpire says that's fair enough. And we'll ball it up. 8 minutes gone in the second quarter. Schoenmakers leapt high, palmed it down nicely to Davey, but he puts it straight out on the full. And the free kick will go to the Demons, just in front of the interchange area there, where Gardel takes it now, measures the kick. Was a good one. That was not a good kick, though, out on the full. That was Weatherly, I think, it was Goodman, Sam Goodman, who put it out on the full. So free kick goes to Frawley now. He goes short to Powell. So they switch to the outer side. Hardy for the Hawks, runs his full measure. Nice pass. This is a short pass to Crozier. So Mason Crozier at half-back for Roeville. Just weighs up his options, assesses what's on offer. There's not a lot to kick to now. A long lead presented by Mitchell Garner, who's back in the Roeville team this week after missing the preliminary final. Mitch Garner, real floater of a kick. It was poor, and that kick was easily chopped off by Dean Stephen, who just filled the hole and worked his way back nicely to take the mark. Stephen switches to this broadcast side of the ground. Plenty of demons on offer. Garthwaite the target. Does he keep his feet? No, he doesn't. Bussy to Walsh. Walsh's kick falls short. The Demons will repel once more through Stephen to Garthwaite. Chain of handballs. Weatherly lost it to Scanlon. Scanlon's long searching kick into the path there of Cody Morris just didn't get a favourable bounce, and the Demons will come away. Beninga the target there on the wing position. Can he keep it in play? Has Garner in opposition. Got around him nicely in the end. Beninga goes in hard again for a third and fourth effort. It's a hotly contested footy. In the end, Roeville, not a bad result for them to force a ball up, because for a moment then it looked like Heath Beninga was off and away.
Not a lot of system to the way both sides are going forward at the moment. You've got numbers behind the ball and it's sort of just ping-ponging back and forth.
Bit of tennis football, as our own Dyson Baker would say, as Roeville get the clearance up towards half forward. And Connor, guess what?
Yep, just for a change. No, that's okay. The wind's going to make that happen plenty today. But the D's will have to be a bit smarter with the way they go inside 50, considering that Roeville have got a couple back. Kinder appears to be the free one, but Bussy's dropping back there as well, and he can certainly take a grab.
Beninga's kick was smothered off the boot and went into the hands of Ryle, and Roeville might be able to thump this one forward if they can get some clean possession. Kick forward, though, wasn't great. Ends up in the hands here of Jai Goodman. Intercepted once again, and they're away. Ryle's kick is good. A free man on the open side here. Here's an opportunity for the Hawks. Running into the open goal and kicking it is Morris. Cody Morris kicks his second. A much-needed goal for the Hawks. They go into 2-3-15, trailing Roeville 3-2-20, back to a 5-point ball game. 11.5 minutes gone here in the Senior Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. Much-needed goal there, Connor.
And that's grand final footy for you, isn't it? Split second of indecision from Jai Goodman, loses the footy, and the Hawks make it pay. And a vital goal in the context of the game early on.
So 2 goals today for Cody Morris, and again, much needed one. It's only obviously 5 points of margin, low scoring game, but I just think for Roeville, this stage, yeah, they needed that goal because they had been working hard for the first 12 minutes of this second quarter, really for no reward, and finally they get some just reward for their efforts. Back in the middle, Johnson extracts it from the centre, as he so often has done over his career. Out of defence, Kinder bounces it towards half forward. Little kick there by Goodman. Frawley got it back to Allen. Neat pass there by Allen, hugging the boundary. Found Hicks. Over the top to Hardy. Mark Hardy certainly knows what it's like to play in grand finals and premierships. Mark Hardy's long kick to a big pack and knocked towards the boundary line.
Just from what we've seen so far, Connor, Matty Davies the kind of guy that could really break this game open if he's able to get some clean ball.
Yeah, absolutely. That sort of pace is priceless on the ground this side, and especially when a game's played in close and tight like this one has been so far. If they can get him in space, he can really make the Demons pay.
Stephen, neat handball. Demons come out of defence now through Langdon. Had a bit of a fumble, recovered nicely, looks for Cook, had 3-on-1. Powell sums up the situation really well then, James Powell. Got it to Kinder. Kinder's floating kick for Jackson. Will it sit for him? Got a bad bounce. And in the end, the boundary line came into play.
Reckon the Hawks would be happy to see the ball come in like that to a 3-on-1 contest.
Yep, it was not the best option. Back into play, Garner. Palmed it down. Langdon escorts the ball over. And you mentioned Matt Davey before, BW, and I reckon, apart from the fact that he does have that burst of pace, when he finally gets rid of the footy, he's usually pretty clean as well. You see some guys who, you know, they're lightning quick, but then their skills let them down on the run. But Matty Davies one who he's a great finisher as well. So I agree. I think he's a player who could definitely break this game open at some stage.
And he certainly can as Langdon goes up towards half forward. Schilling couldn't quite take the mark. Edwards at the fall of the ball. The short, stocky little man, Barney Edwards, but he knows how to play football. Haney got a hand pass over the top. The short chipping ball is good. The mark's been taken here for Montrose by Condello. He's tucked up in the right forward pocket. He'll look to try and put through Montrose's 4th goal. Probably have to go a little bit left to right, I think. So Michael Condello, man of 20 years of age, plenty of 20-year-olds running around today, just decides to put a hospital ball up, and it really did not suit his teammates as Rebel through Matthew Langdon were able to thump that one over the boundary line and out of bounds.
And I can tell you what, Benny, I had the binoculars on him as he was going back, and the eyes were darting everywhere. He had no confidence at all that he was going to be able to kick the goal then.
And it showed through that kick as well, as Montrose still might have the opportunity. It's tucked up inside at 50 as Kidner's kick up towards left half back. It's probably a win. And Connor Reiner goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. 80 metres around for the Montrose goal. They led this one 3-2-20 to Roval 2-3-15. Just ticked over 15 and a half minutes here in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final.
I reckon Montrose would be happy for this one to be a stoppage fest with big Andrew Haney in the ruck. They're able to work over the skinnier Nick Schoenmakers in those contests.
Certainly been one of the premier ruckmen in Division 2 this year, Andrew Haining, but Schoenmakers' form has been good over recent weeks. Speak of the devil, Schoenmakers and Haining go at it, and Haining wins that contest with the tap out and then gets it handball off to Scott. He goes up towards true centre half forward. Thumped away there by Powell on by Cook to provide a contest, but Edwards did well and kicking in danger.
Yeah, that's consistency from the umpire. He called it down here on the near wing, and he didn't have any choice but to call it again there.
What it has done, though, is the free kick has allowed Roval to get plenty of numbers back in their defensive arc. So a hard kick coming up for Michael Barney Edwards. He's in the middle of Jubilee Park. He's 90 metres out from goal, so he hasn't got a lot of options to go to. So it's going to be a kick in hope or a torp up towards full forward. It's a shocker. And the mark's been taken in defence by Damien Garner. And he looked to rebound with his side down by 5 points, 16 and a half minutes gone here in the second term.
Yeah, I reckon that kick pretty much sums up Montrose's quarter so far. They've been banging their head against a brick wall, trying to get it in there, but not getting anything from their forwards, unfortunately.
Yep. Hardy got it to Jackson, very low kick, and it was well marked. Diving to the ground there, Bussey. Handball over the top to Hardy. Mark Hardy shares it with Jackson. Neat pass by Jackson to Hicks, who has done a couple of nice things, but generally has been fairly quiet in his first half, Nathan Hicks. Sends it forward, and not his best effort with the kick either. 17 and a half minutes gone in the second quarter here at Jubilee Park, where Montrose lead 3-2-20. Roval 2-3-15.
Just not a lot of rhythm to this contest so far. It's just been a bit stop-start and you know, pinging from 50 to 50, but without any impact on the scoreboard. So it's sort of hard to get a read on what the coaches are going to make of it at half-time.
Imagine if you had to cast votes at this stage. Like, who would you give votes to? It's no one has sort of risen above the standard of the general standard of the contest so far. So back into play.
Well, there hasn't been any players who've been consistent for the whole quarter and a half. I know Brett Johnson, Dean Stephen had ripping starts, but they've kind of dropped off a little bit. Matt Davies been electric, but hasn't been consistent either.
That big fella Haning's done all right in my eyes.
Been okay.
Yes. Weatherly puts the kick out of bounds on the full, and will be a free kick to the Hawks. So can they manage from this kick in? Kinder at half back. Usually always finds plenty of space, does sort of play that loose man role a fair bit. Jay Kinder got it to Hardy. And gee, Mark Hardy, even he, with all his experiences, has not read that breeze. And he's put it out of bounds on the full. We've seen that so many times on that outer side of Jubilee Park where there's very few spectators. I mean, there never is very many spectators. There's a lot more there today than you would get on a typical Saturday. Of course, being a grand final, as Sam Goodman launches a long left foot kick. Kinder worked his way back. Ball slipped through his hands, though. Cook on the deck against Kinder. Pretty well played by Jay Kinder. Got it out to Frawley. Frawley scrounged out a handball, didn't travel too far. Sam Goodman takes possession, wants a free kick, but the umpire says no, and then Goodman plays for another free kick. And again, the umpire says no.
Roval were trying to, when they were going forward there, Connor, they were trying to sort of chip it around and really sort of negate the breeze there. Is that the way to go forward?
I think it is, but they're doing it on the wrong side of the ground.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep harping on it, but it seemed to work when they came out on this near side. They were able to chip it around and get it forward. We'll see how they go this time.
So, boundary throwing will occur, true centre wing position.
And I think the thing we can really say is that both coaches are going to have plenty to work on at half-time. Having gone with the wind and against the wind, they're going to know what they're up against, and certainly I think we'll see two different teams after the main break.
Well, Cook's in front here, got the dukes out and couldn't quite take the mark, but his work at ground level has been just as good so far today, provided the contest. But well done, though, by the Hawks. Hand pass came out from Makara. Hardy on hands and knees, did well, fed out a hand pass. And Alex Frawley on the left foot, kicks up towards half forward, going back with courage, a few demons, but it might spill here for Robbie McEwen. Kick inside 50 over the head of Stanley, and Brendan Gardol will see it over the boundary line and out of bounds 30 metres around from goal.
It was a big win for the Hawks at half-back too, because if the Demons had got possession there, they finally had a chance to get it up forward without the man advantage down there. So the Roeville threw an extra man at the contest and paid off.
Mitch Garner versus Haining in this boundary throw-in. Haining got the tap down once again. Kick off the ground towards the boundary line. Stephen was there, but trying to force his way there was Damien Garner. Kick towards goal. Well off to the left and out of bounds on the full. Montrose 3-2-20, leading Roeville 2-3-15. Just 10 scoring shots in close to 50 minutes of football.
And as the ball's deep in their forward line, we've got Cody Morris just patrolling the boundary in front of us on the interchange. So they probably like to have him right where the ball was a short time ago.
Certainly think so. There's 4 Hawks ready to come back on the field as the umpire pulls out a free kick for a hold and now pays advantage. Everyone's happy. Johnson kicks up towards Schilling at half forward flank this time. Played for the free kick but didn't win it. And Willoughby did well to keep his feet, and he didn't do well to kick it out of bounds on the full.
I reckon having Morris on the bench there might be an indication of how Roeville have approached this quarter. I mean, they have thrown numbers back, and you know, going against the wind, you would do that, but it might just show that they wanted a bit more mobility up forward and try and get some of those smalls involved.
You can see the Choose tap and the EFL and the 9 News flags all very, very, well, they've almost being blown off the poles at the moment. As Johnson goes up towards half forward. Cook was thumped out, played for the free kick, didn't receive it. Willoughby dived on top of the football and almost won himself a free kick. The umpire says, I'll have a ball up, and we'll see one 80 metres out for the Montrose goal. 22.5 minutes gone. It's the D's by 5 in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final. Hope you're enjoying the call. Ben Waterworth, Brad Henderson, and Connor Ryan with you. As the D's try to work it out, they might be able to do a good job of it here, but the Hawks will run it out of half back. Handball come over the top towards Scanlon, over his head. Thumping on the ball there was Langdon. He was immediately tackled, and we'll see a ball up in the middle of Jubilee Park. Montrose 3-2-20, Roeville 2-3-15. 23 minutes gone in this second term in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
Just one behind in this quarter for Montrose, and Roeville have kicked 1 goal. So just 2 scoring shots for the entire term. As a result, you wouldn't imagine there'd be very much time on.
Just on the Hawks before, we saw them running out of defence there in waves. I think that'll be something that'll please Paul Minor. I mean, they didn't work it out. They could have come to the outside and had numbers, but that's what he would have been looking for, and I think he'll want to see more of that in the game to come.
Handball came out from Frawley, was intercepted by Haining, got it to Stephen. High up and under kick from Dean Stephen. Garthwaite in the box seat, couldn't quite take the mark. And I reckon those two who were involved then, Haining and Stephen, would certainly be just about Quinella the votes to this stage of the game. They're probably 2 players who have had a pretty big impact in the first half. There aren't too many others though.
Nope.
So the umpire to board up once more.
Look at the wind now. It looks like it's now going towards the right-hand side of your screen. Really blustery, hard to read throughout the day for players.
Bussy there gave away a free kick, I think, to Garthwaite, or it was in fact just before that a free kick. It is going the way of the Demons though. Looks like Goodman there, high up and under kick. Really pretty much no one got a hand to it, landed in open space, and Frawley takes the ball to the boundary line.
Landed in an absolute sea of Roeville jumpers. They didn't get their hand on it, but it tells you how the mindset's going in terms of the defensive quarter for Roeville.
Luckily, no small Montrose forwards on the ground to pick up either.
Just as you look at that forward line, it sort of seems like there's a lot more Roeville jumpers there, a lot more Roeville players around the footy and just in the general area as well. Scanlon out of defence. McEwen was the target, can't keep the ball in play.
And that's the pattern we've followed for most of this quarter, as it'll come in, Roeville win the ball in the back 50 with the extra numbers, come out to do it and we have another stoppage.
Back into play. Makara got a high one from Haining. And it should be a free kick to Max Makara. Yes, it is. So, Max Makara came up through the juniors at Roeville, through under 16, 14s and 16s, and it's certainly been a great talent pool that they've drawn from, the Hawks, over recent seasons. As Edwards takes the mark, he's high up and under kick, lands in the arms of Garthwaite. Still too far out to score. Don't think there'd be much time left, so he'll want to quickly move it on. Waits for some, well, only waited for one forward to get back. There was plenty of Roeville players, and in the end, the ball missed all of them. And again, he's over the boundary line. And so many Hawks in that forward 50 at the moment.
Very, very well drilled, the Hawks. I think they've done a very good job of bottling it up this quarter. You can see by the scoreboard that Montrose haven't been able to make any impact with the win.
There's a pretty obvious free kick which went to Damien Garner. The Hawks play the advantage. Hardy gave it, don't argue. Neat handball to Walsh, who had it spent before acceptances. Allen over the footy, and he's all bottled up as well. As the siren sounds to complete a very low-scoring second quarter where Montrose only managed one behind and Roeville just managed the one solitary goal. And at half-time in the Choose Tap Second Division EFL Grand Final, it is Montrose by 5 points. They're 3-2-20, Roeville 2-3-15, 5-point lead to the Demons at the long break. Well, very cool and blustery conditions prevailing here at Jubilee Park as the second half is about to get underway, where Montrose lead by 5 points, 3 goals to 20 to Roeville 2-3-15 in the Choose Tap Second Division 2012 Grand Final. And it was a really low-scoring first half, no doubt about that. The game didn't reach any great heights, but we are expecting it to lift to another level in this, what is traditionally called, of course, the Premiership quarter, as Roeville get away first. Frawley's little handball was effective. Inside forward 50, Morris backpedals with the handball, got it to McEwen. He was dumped then by Goodman after the kick. Davey attacks the footy, had a fair bit of it, plays for the free kick, and gets the free kick. That was against Stephen. Davey spears it in towards Frawley. So Alex Frawley, pretty quiet start to this game for him. Had a pretty solid second quarter. Certainly still has another level to go to. Frawley's kick to the pocket, and look at the collision of bodies there. Haining and Andrew Nee both crashing into each other, but importantly they got a fist on the ball, forced her behind, and the first score of this quarter, Connor.
Not a fella you'd want to get in the way of, big Andrew Haining, but he was very well committed to that one and got the important fist on it to get it over the line.
So the first score of the third term, the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final. Montrose 3-2-20. Roeville doing it in behinds, 2-4-16. The kick out towards half-back, but Roeville will receive the ball, and the kick inside is good to Hicks. He's been a little quiet so far. He plays on quickly. He's got a man over the top, and almost the mark taken there by Matty Stanley, but stumped away from him, and he might receive the free kick for a chop of the arms, and he will. So Matty Stanley has got the free kick in the right forward pocket. Difficult angle, especially for a right footer, but he's a class player. So he'll probably have to start this one maybe to the left and bring it back to the right.
Yep, just hang it out a bit and hope the wind can do the rest, I reckon.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of hope probably helps as well. So Matty Stanley, been a great goal-kicking midfielder all year. Can he get the Hawks off to a great start? The kick is well off to the left, and it just sneaks in for a minor score. So Roval with 2 behinds early on, 2-5-17. Trailing Montrose 3-2-20 in a very, very low-scoring Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
It is, but a bit of scoring to start the quarter at least. 2 minutes gone, and already Roval have hit the scoreboard twice. They just haven't been able to put it through the big sticks, but certainly a more promising start to this term for them. As it's at half-back now for Montrose. Knee kicks to the wing position. Langdon was the target. Couldn't quite control it. Johnson got the handball away. A lot of players over the footy. It's shoveled out now. Ryle kick into open space. Plenty of demons back there. They had the 3-on-1 numbers favouring them. Langdon grabs the footies all wrapped up. And in the end, probably a little bit fortunate to get a free kick. Just a little bit high then from Makara. So free kick to Langdon. Finds Sam Goodman, who swings onto that very trusty left foot. Out towards Johnson. He's also a left footer. Brett Johnson tries to kick the leader's goal. It's marked in the goal square by Cook. And great one grab mark then from Adam Cook playing in front. And he'd have to fall over to miss it from here. Which he
looks like he's done the right thing,
but he
but
set the goal up by a task. But he has just snuck it home.
He made pretty tough work of that one, but the difference there for Montrose was that they were able to work it through the middle of the ground. We saw that they denied Roval that in the previous quarter, but just working the ball through the middle, it opens the ground up, and Brett Johnson's a very classy player, and he put it on a plate for the big fella who delivered.
Yeah, it was the 2 left footers who really created that opportunity then, Sam Goodman and then Johnson, and both of them, their kicks were both penetrating and also to a dangerous spot. And as it turned out, Adam Cook certainly stood up to be counted in the goal square, took the mark, and even though he did make hard work of it, he managed to sneak it home.
First goal for a quarter for the Montrose Football Club, and it comes through Cook. But Roval have other ideas. They pump the ball forward, but Montrose have the numbers at half-back, and the kick out wide is excellent. The mark has been taken here by Sam Rickard, who's been busy throughout the game. It's a beautiful kick as well, as you heard from Connor Ryan. Got it to Scott, almost played on. Umpire said go back and have a kick, son. He now has to play on. He's run himself in an amount of trouble as Davey put some pressure on, and a high kick from Stephen up towards the right forward pocket. Cook was there, but taking a saving mark is Steve Giorgio, who's solid as a rock down there. He goes wide and he finds Alex Frawley in the right back pocket. Frawley goes further along the wing. Good searching kick as well, just over the head of Rosier. Picks the ball up now on hands and knees, gets a dangerous hand pass back to Damien Garner. And Crozier will see it over the boundary line and out of bounds in front of Mark Freeman's very own EFL 9 News and Choose Tap flags, which are currently blowing, a
bit of every which way at the moment, so hard to get a read on, but looks like the wind might still be favouring the left-hand side of the screen.
Very slightly as the boundary throw-in occurs, and we'll see yet another boundary throw-in. True centre wing position in front of the next to the scoreboard, which reads Montrose 4-2-26 to Roval 2-5-17, just over 5.5 minutes gone. Haining almost took it out of the ruck, then decided to tap it down to his teammate, and Goodman goes up towards the half-forward area, almost a mark to Watson. Must have just bounced before he was able to get a clean grasp on it, and goes over the boundary line and out of bounds, 70 metres around from the D's goal.
We said earlier on at the start of the game that the D's elected to kick against the wind, maybe looking for a strong finisher, but they've been better into the wind in the first quarter and looked good early as well, so maybe that's their strength, kicking against the breeze.
Well, Hardy was on hands and knees, but was to no avail, and here's an opportunity. Johnson got a little hand pass further afield. The D's are inside 50, almost pushing the back there was Watson, but he didn't dispose of the ball properly, and we'll see a free kick going the way of Steve Giorgio. He's at right half back. Come to the near side. Come to the near side. That's what we want. That's what Connor Ryan wants, and they'll look to bring it out now. Hardy goes short. Jay Kidner kicks over the top to Powell, and Powell takes the mark at left half back. This is a bit better. They've got a couple of options, a one-on-one contest, but just slipping at the wrong time there was Jackson. It allowed Garthwaite to read the ball very nicely and take an uncontested mark. Goes further afield to Schilling. He goes even further afield, but it's a poor kick in the end. It's been intercepted. And through Hardy, Roval will look to rebound off their half-back line.
They will indeed. There's a bit of byplay going on between Garthwaite and Jackson behind the
getting to know each other a little better there.
Yeah, both of them almost probably giving free kicks away, but the umpire called it a nil or draw and decided not to pay one. Scanlon takes possession, puts it to the hot spot. Morris in the box seat almost took the mark. He was certainly in prime position to do so. Scanlon kicks a great goal. That's a great Crummers goal. Opportunists like Luke Scanlon, they have those for breakfast, and he made it look very easy in the end. And Luke Scanlon has kicked his first of the day. And we've said, Ben Waterworth, that this game needs some players, you know, to sort of break out from the pack. And Matt Davey is one we've mentioned, but Luke Scanlon's another who's certainly capable of doing just that.
He's a player with plenty of tricks, that's for sure, and I reckon he deserved that goal. It was a great centre. Cody Morris couldn't grab it, but he did the work himself, and well deserved. He's
almost got a little bit of John Platten about him with the dreadlocks, a very small stature, and the brown and gold stripes. And here's an opportunity for Makara towards that man in Scanlon. He'll have the pace advantage on Weatherly. Ball goes over his head, kick towards the top of the goal square. In fact, it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket. But good signs for Roval just now. There's a little bit more free flow, a little bit more attack, and unfortunately couldn't make it count on the scoreboard. Montrose will have the free kick from left half back, and it will be a long kick towards left half back. Mark taken very nicely that time for Montrose by knee. He played on though to no effect, a mistake, and we'll see the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. Montrose 4-2-26, only in front by 3 points at the moment. Roval 3-5-23, just literally ticked over 9 minutes in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. Johnson was immediately set upon by 2 or 3 Roval players, and umpire Jordan Buckingham will ball the ball up 55 metres out from the Hawks' goal. Next goal is vitally important. Beninga kicks up towards half back. Damien Garner was there. He's been everywhere today, Damien Garner. Couldn't quite get clean possession this time as Edwards got a hand pass back. Look at the silky silver fox in Mark Hardy do some of his sharpest. Got a handball out, but Damien Garner fumbled it. Ball comes back out now, and a high kick up towards half from the Hawks. In position A was Davey. Brought the ball to ground, but the D's have the numbers. Can they get a clean possession out? No, they can't, because it's going to be a free kick going the way of the Hawks. For a high tackle by Jordan Buckingham right on that one. It will be Alex Frawley at right half forward. He's 70 metres out. Hasn't got a lot of options inside forward 50. Davey calls for it. Instead, he goes inboard to Max Makara. Can unload from 55 metres out. Morris is one-on-one, and Morris takes it. That's what the Hawks wanted, and Cody Morris from almost directly in front, 30 metres out, can kick his third and give Roval the lead for the first time since they kicked that opening behind.
And you could see it setting up well for the Hawks. The Demons didn't drop players back as much as Roval did in that second term. Left a one-on-one opportunity for Morris, and he was good enough to take the grab.
He's come back from overseas, walked straight in to the Roval senior lineup, and why wouldn't he walk in? Because he's a big-time player, and he's a big-time goal kicker, and he needs this one, and he gets it. 3 goals to Cody Morris, and Roval hit the lead in the Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. They're going to 4-5-29, leading Montrose 4-2-26. Almost 11 minutes gone in this third term here, Connor. Much needed goal for the Hawks, and Morris is proving a bit of a headache for the D's.
I'm not sure if you noticed it, guys, but as Cody Morris was taking that shot, Damien Garner coming from the field, and his right arm hanging by his side. He looked like he was unable to lift it, certainly over his head, and he looked to be in a lot of pain. So that could be a big blow for Roval. They'll be hoping it's a quick recovery, but didn't look good as he came off the field. So back in the middle, 3-point lead to Roval. Cody Morris kicking his third goal, putting the Hawks back in front. There's a couple of Roval players,
Hawks,
2 Hawks down in the middle. both very slow to get up. Johnson around the corner, and a mark safely taken in defence there by Allen. Troy Allen for the Hawks. Runs his full measure. Dangerous handball was intended there for Hardy. And Johnson takes the ball to the boundary line. It looks like those two Rowville players in that collision have recovered.
You can see the rain coming down again, so I don't think we're going to get that free-flowing open game we were hoping for. It's not going to dry up, so get used to it.
At least they're starting to play a bit of footy on this side of the ground in this third quarter, which is much appreciated. Not just by us, but of course by well, 90% of the crowd here who are on this side of the ground, the grandstand side.
That's right, and a couple of goals for the Rowville's got the Hawks fans involved as well. I'm sure they're really hanging out for something to cheer about.
Nice spoil there from behind by Andrew Nee. He fisted that one straight over the boundary line and outpointed Morris on that occasion. Haining palms it down to Rickard. Stanley cops a high one from Weatherly. He did duck into the tackle, but nevertheless, it did seem to be a free kick there.
Yeah, a sneaky one from Stanley. Did drop the head in anticipation of the contact, but it was pretty heavy. I don't think he gave the umpire any choice there.
Timed it perfectly.
A wily sort of footballer he is.
Has spent a lot of time on the bench today. He's been on and off the ground throughout, obviously coming back from injury.
Yeah, I don't think he's 100%, Brad.
No, it's certainly been evident. Although he has done some good work, but as I say, they've certainly not overburdened him today with his time on the ground.
Yeah, well, with a late fitness test, he was never going to be 100% for the day, but, you know, it might be that 85% of Matty Stanley's, enough for the Hawks to justify his spot.
So Montrose 4-2-26, trailing Rowville 4-6-30. Jai Goodman, the general, down back, goes along towards left half back, big fly from behind, no one able to quite take clean possession. Ball on hands and knees, and heaps of players converging that football, and Geordie Buckingham says, give it to me, fellas. We'll have a ball up 60 metres out from the Rowville goal. But there's certainly some good signs for Paul Minot's men. They've come out and used the breeze well in this term, as Nick Schoenmaker's got a nice ride there and got it down to Robbie McEwen. Kick inside, 50 Morris at the back. Couldn't quite take the mark. Well done by Goodman. Affected the spoil. Dangerous kick. Jackson used his body well, but using his body even better on that occasion was Sam Rickard. And his kick out towards the broadcast position here is a shank off the boot. Did no favours to his teammate in Jaden Weatherly. And seeing it over the boundary line and out of bounds is Michael Bussey, 80 metres out from his own team's goal. The D's down by 4 points. Nearly 15 minutes gone in this third term. Going up uncontested was Jai Goodman. Got it down to Sam Rickard, but picked up by Frawley. Got a hand pass off to McEwen. Kick inside 50 for Morris. Just fell short of him, but Scanlon's going to kick on the afterburkers. The little man with a big hut. Snap around the body from Luke Scanlon is well off to the right, and it's over the boundary line and out of bounds. Gee, looks like he wants to tear this game to shreds right now.
You can hear the excitement in your voice, Benny. I know you're a fan of Lukey the Rat Scanlon.
Yes.
So if he can get onto a few more and extend that lead for Rowville, they're going to go with plenty of confidence into that last quarter.
He is the epitome of a Rat player, but geez, he looks like he can tear this game to shreds at the moment. So Montrose 4-2-26 to Rowville 4-6-30. Brad, and is that Brett Johnson who's struggling
indeed.
there?
Yeah, it is indeed. He's in the hands of the trainers, has been for quite some time, and coming from the field now. So it is the walking wounded at the moment. Plenty of players going down in this third quarter. It's become a war of attrition as there's a free kick going the way of the Demons. Big high up and under kick. Plenty of distance. Powell did well to take the mark. Judged it really nicely. And James Powell goes very short to Schoenmakers, to Hardy. Frawley. Bit of a floater. Didn't really do his teammate there any favours. And Montrose get numbers to the contest and force another ball up. That was Nathan Hicks who couldn't quite take the mark.
Connor, the Hawks are doing a good job of keeping the ball in their forward half at the moment. Not a lot of ball inside Montrose's forward half in the last 10 minutes.
Certainly are, and learn their lessons from going with the win in that quarter, I think. But I think Brett Johnson just gave a sneaky thumbs up to the bench, so it looks like he's ready to come back onto the ground when they can find another one for him.
Big decisive fist then from Haining, but it was straight into the hands of, I think it was Giorgio there for Rovell. High tackle on Langdon, and advantage is paid. Now it will come back. So free kick to Matt Langdon. Just wants something to kick to, takes plenty of time. Up and under kick. Came off hands. Goodman. Sam Goodman's low spearing kick. Bussy did really well. Thumping kick by Bussy, but it's all Montrose as Langdon once more takes the mark safely. Kicks to the broadcast side wing. Rickard was in position A, had plenty of support. Not sure how he got rid of that in the end. Umpire said it was okay. High up and under kick by Watson. 3-on-1 favours Rovell. Kinder, the loose man, gets back again to help out. And, gee, they do that well, the Hawks. They get numbers back inside that defensive 50 on so many occasions as Davey is off and running. Was confronted, though. Put himself under a lot of pressure. Forced the error. Stephen over the top. Neat little left foot pass into the path of Beninga. Got it to Goodman. They appeal for holding the ball. And the umpire says, no, it was a push in the back against Giorgio. Free kick goes to the Demons. So dying stage, or no, sorry, almost approaching time on, I should say, in the third quarter. Rovell 4 goals, 6:30. Montrose 4-2, 26. And a free kick to, looks like Sam Goodman on that outer side. Goodman's kick right to the square, big fly from Garthwaite. Barney Edwards off the pack. He kicks a great goal, sharked the pack beautifully then. And the veteran, he summed that situation up perfectly and puts through a much needed goal. Every goal in this game is crucial now in such a low scoring game.
Yeah, absolutely textbook stuff there, front and centre for Edwards. Just read it beautifully, got front and square, and really had time just to do what he wanted with it and put the goal through, and Montrose back in front.
I think he's the only guy who still remains from that 2004 grand final that Montrose lost to Wantirna South all those years ago, 8 years ago.
Well, the ball's back in the middle here for Montrose. Scott was slung in attack. All good pressure here from the Hawks, and they'll receive the ball through Matty Davey. Kicks on the afterburners, goes inside 50. Gardol read that ball nicely, but the ball comes to ground now. Almost running an open goal was Hicks. He was tackled, and Montrose will be happy to see this one over the behind line, but they have some time. Kick was smothered beautifully by the Hawks. Comes inboard now. Hicks round the body, goal! Nathan Hicks, an opportunist goal, and he puts through the quick response. That's his first, and Rovell kicked their fifth. 5-6-36. They're back in front just like that. Montrose 5-2-32. Just ticked over time on here in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
And a bit of life in the game at last. It was that tackling pressure in the middle of the ground from Rovell. They really attacked the Montrose players with ferocity, got the turnover and went long, and didn't give up on the contest, importantly. Got the smother, and Hicks was good enough to finish.
Yeah, I think it was Jake Ryle was the player who affected the smother in the goal square and then followed up. Hunted down the footy, got the little handball away, and for Nathan Hicks, that's his bread and butter, those sorts of goals. He's been kicking them all season for Rovell. In the middle once more, Goodman lost possession. Quick kick out of the pack into open space. Stephen gets boot to ball, just keeps finding the footy, and Davey chases it down, but the boundary line comes into effect first, and it's a goal for goal at the moment. The lead has changed a bit in this third quarter. Rovell have wrested the lead back, 5 goals 6 to Montrose 5 goals 2 into time on in the third term. Exciting stages. Certainly the intensity's lifted, got up a cog in this third quarter. The crowd have started to raised their voice, and just in general the calibre of the game has gone to another level. Haining fists it out of the air. Great smother off the boot of Goodman. Very high up and under kick.
Let's have a look at Lukey Scanlon sitting in the pocket on his own. Snuck on from the interchange bench, just praying for a kick out. But he's just been spotted.
Yeah, he'll be picked up now, and he was there for a fair while. Quick kick comes forward, Hicks and Stanley, and it's Stanley who takes the mark. And I tell you what, with Stanley, Hicks and Scanlon there at the feet of Cody Morris, all of a sudden that Roeville forward line is, after being really ineffectual in the first half, is looking very dangerous. And Matty Stanley, he's only kicked 2 behinds today, hasn't kicked a goal, he's had a couple of chances. That's a better kick. He's happy, and the supporters are happy as well. Matty Stanley kicks the goal, and Roeville stretch their lead now. It's out to 10 points. They're, I dare say, their biggest lead of the day so far. 6 goals, 6-42. Montrose 5-2, 32.
It sure is, and you mentioned those small forwards, and they're going to be crucial in this quarter, because last quarter we saw Billy Schilling was quite isolated up forward for Montrose, 3-on-1 a lot of the time, didn't get any help. Roeville are pushing those small blokes up to the feet of the bigger forwards, and it's paying dividends in this quarter.
So the Hawks have the advantage in this third term. Not the floodgates are starting to open, but just a bit more open play, including this passage of play now. It will be won by the D's as Stephen picks the ball up and goes up towards right half forward, thumped away into the hands of the Silver Fox, almost through that one, but he was clever in the contest there. Putting his head over the footy there was Jackson, and he's able to force a ball up. True centre wing position on the grandstand side of Jubilee Park. Tremendous crowd for this Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final. It's Roeville by 10 points, just over 23.5 minutes gone in the third term. Nice little bit of fancy footwork that time from Sam Goodman. Kicks up towards the half-forward area. Well done that time by Ryle. He's played well today. Kick for Frawley, almost a collision, but Frawley did well. Called for the footy, kicked inside 50. Morris in position A, thumped away from him. At the back of the pack, couldn't quite get to Stanley. They'll be happy to see this one over the boundary line and out of bounds. Will the D's, and they will get that result. 20 metres around from goal, we'll see a boundary throw in.
It was a great effort from Morris to follow up on that contest with the tackle there, and that's been a feature of Roeville's quarter. I think they're tackling, particularly in the forward lines, really giving Montrose a lot of trouble.
Haining with another hit out. Frawley, he's played well in this third term, put his head over that footy. A little hand pass there, but only as far as the Montrose defence. Walsh surely went into the back there, and he gave away a free kick. So the D's will get the resultant one on the outer side. Left half back. Montrose down by 10 points. Still a slight win advantage going to Roeville, so Montrose will probably have the win in the final term. They go up towards half forward. Hardy got the tap down. Damien Garner tried to pick up the footy to no avail. And a heap of players converge on the ball, and 80 metres out from the Roeville goal, we'll see a ball up. It's nearly 25 minutes gone in the third term. D's by 10 points. Haining has dominated the ruck all day, but he got it tapped straight down to Davey. Kick inside 50. Was stumped away from Frawley. Up towards the 50-metre arc here. Scanlon tackled when his opponent didn't have the football. And
paid the throw.
Oh, he's paid the throw, in fact. So Lukey Scanlon's got the free kick in the right forward pocket. He's about 50 metres out from goal. It goes towards the hot spot. Morris will fly. Couldn't quite take the mark. Ball comes to ground, though. Players converting the football, and Roeville will be happy with the ball up. It's a dangerous spot for the Montrose defence, who've stood tall, but still they've been under immense pressure in this third term. Not a lot of ball in Montrose's forward half at all. Walsh and Haining. Haining again got the tap down. Swooped on, and a kick towards goal is very nice from Jackson. And it's gone through for a goal. And Roeville kick ahead to lead this one by 16 points. 7-6-48 to Montrose, 5-2, 32. 26 minutes gone here in the third term in this Senior Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final.
Yeah, and a real moment of quality in a game that's been lacking them so far. It was a nice piece of ruck work, and took the ball in stride and finished with the lazy check side. So
Stanley, sorry, my apologies.
That's, 16 points. It's something to worry about for Montrose now.
I think it was Jackson who kicked the goal, Betty.
Was it?
Yep.
That was who I watched it follow through, yeah. So that's his first of the day. Kick to centre half forward. Hawks through Davey now. Davies kick to the top of the square. Morris in the box seat. Plenty of demon defenders, but Roville win it back. Crozier threw it out to Hicks. And Hicks has slotted it, but the umpires paid that throw.
It's like a water polo shot on goal almost.
And it was
creative, but not quite legal.
It's pretty obvious, but sometimes you get away with those. And so the free kick goes to the Demons. Jai Goodman kicks straight up the middle, Haining the target. Understandably, the big ruckman was the go-to player. Out of the pack. High kick by Makara to full forward. Good recovery. Quick kick around the corner. Morris. He was under it for a long time, and he safely takes the mark. And I don't think he could believe his luck when he was all on his own virtually, and the ball was coming towards him. It took a while to get there, but in the end, safely takes the mark. And what's he got today? 3 goals.
Got 3.
So
Yep.
That Peter Baird chirping away in the background.
Possibly might be. Good afternoon to Peter Baird watching the Roville DVD coverage, which I'm sure he will be at the moment.
3 goals out of Roville 7 thus far. Has a chance to kick half of their goals with this kick. Got quite close to the man on the mark. And there's no doubt that affected the kick, so he's missed an absolute golden opportunity.
Deary me. So Morris wasn't able to extend Roville's lead, and it might make them pay because Stevens got it, but he's a terrible hospital hand pass, but his teammate under enormous pressure. D still might have it through Scott. Great tackle from Jackson, and umpire calls for the ball. We'll see a ball up on the edge of the centre square, 55 to 60 metres out from Roville's goal. Cody Morris certainly looking a lot more dangerous when that ball is moving quickly and swiftly inside forward 50.
Yeah, he's had the benefit of not having the extra man down there as well. The Demons haven't sent the spare down there every time, so it's given Morris a lot more space to work, and he's delivered.
So secondary ball up in the middle of Jubilee Park. D's lead this one. Sorry, Hawks lead this one by 17 points. Jackson couldn't quite extract it properly. Walsh put his head over the footy. Tried to paddle it forward about 5 metres, and he was successful in doing so, but that was all. And that is 3/4 time, and Roville in that term were able to kick 5 goals to Montrose's 2, and they lead this one by 17 points. Roville 7-7-49, Montrose 5-2-32. Final quarter right after this.
Well, it was an outstanding third quarter from the Roville Football Club, where they kicked 5 goals, 4 in that third term to Montrose's 2 straight goals, but it should have been 6 goals for the Hawks. Cody Morris missing a certainly gettable opportunity for him, and you'd say a gimme late in that third term, which could have, well, not put the game beyond doubt, but certainly made it extremely hard for Montrose. As it is, it's a 17-point lead to the Hawks as the final quarter begins. And it's the Demons who go inside forward 50 for the first time in the quarter. Powell fumbled, but he got the ball back. Got it out to Bussey. And taken over the boundary line then. He's played a solid game down back. 22 inside 50s in that third quarter. Roville had to 7 was the stat, so that's a massive advantage, and they did certainly made the most of their opportunities, kicking 5 goals to 2. It's Brendan Walsh there getting involved. He's had a fairly quiet day for the Hawks.
We saw Montrose dominate the inside 50s in that second quarter, and if they can do that again, they're going to need to figure out a way to get goals out of it, because they weren't able to do that in the second term.
Davey then was in really close quarters, got his kick away, but Langton intercepted it. Long kick forward to Edwards. Came off hands to Watson. Kinder hunts the footy. Goodman does well, gets a high tackle. Condello, in fact, it is. And a free kick goes to Condello, who plays on, sees the open goal square, but by the time the ball arrives, the kick was well and truly picked off there by Powell.
He didn't quite get hold of that the way he wanted to, Condello.
17-point lead to Roeville.
So it'll be Bussey to bring the ball back in for the Hawks. He's been pretty solid today. Down back, and he goes short to Kidner. In fact, it's Jackson, left back pocket. Kick was smothered off the boot. Might prove costly. Jackson followed up with a long kick off the ground outside his defensive 50, but Montrose have the numbers. Walsh picks it up for Roeville though and goes out towards true centre wing. If the ball sits for Hicks, he's in business. It does. He bounces now and he goes up towards half forward. And the Morris is on the lead and he takes the mark 45 metres out. Tuffy Shangle, but he's a proven goal kicker. He's booted 3 today. Hopefully he doesn't kick one like his last attempt at goal.
Yeah, it's a difficult pocket to kick from, but look, every goal in this quarter is going to be absolute gold for Roeville. If they can get 1 or 2 on the board early, it might be enough to see them home.
It's the D's by 17 points. It's the Hawks by 17 points, in fact. And Morris comes in now for his 4th goal of the afternoon. It'll land just short, almost the mark right in the back pocket. Montrose might have the numbers coming out of defence. Still an opportunity for the Hawks. Walsh fed it out to Davey. Nicely done in the end by the D's to see it over the boundary line and out of bounds. 30 metres around from the Hawks' goal.
Scoreboard has the margin at 16 points.
Thank you very much to Connor Ryan. Special comments today, Brad Henderson, Ben Waterworth. Hope you're enjoying this very accurate DVD coverage. Haining and Walsh went up. Gardole's drifted down forward. Davey towards goal. Morris is there, thumped away from him. Scanlon as well. And players content to see it through over for a rush behind. So on the scoreboard at the moment, it's Montrose 5-3-33, trailing Roeville 7-8-50. 3.5 minutes gone in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
Getting quite dark here at Jubilee Park as the ball comes back in. Haining the target there against Walsh. Haining got it out to Langdon. Demons up towards the wing. Edwards gave away a free kick, pretty obvious one, and it will go to Giorgio. So Edwards pretty slow to get to his feet. Took quite a big thud as he hit the deck. Giorgio concedes some ground. Found Kinder. Jackson hunts down the footy now.
Got acres of space out there.
He's got a bit of time, although in the end it was probably too much time. Lack of urgency there from Jackson. Kinder works his way back and manages to get the ball to the boundary line. It wasn't all that well played in the end from Matty Jackson.
Schilling tried to do the right thing and get to his teammate, then I reckon the better option might have been just to go long and hope the wind got hold of it.
Not the worst result though here for Montrose. Forward pocket boundary throw-in. Huge numbers around the footy. Quick kick came out of the pack. And the mark safely taken there by Powell. So James Powell's looked pretty solid in this second half whenever he's gone back there to help out. Powell's kick to a huge pack once more. Garner, who's back on the field, came off in the third quarter in a fair degree of pain, but he has resumed his place.
Put a lot of strapping on that arm and that elbow and wrist area.
Yeah, he's one of those players who he always seems to have a lot of strapping as it is, and then obviously he's aggravated probably an existing injury further, and yeah, he would be feeling the pinch at the moment, but it won't be hurting in about 20 minutes from now if Roeville come away with the win. At the moment they're in the box seat, 17-point lead for the Hawks.
I reckon the Hawks will be perfectly happy to see a repeat of the second quarter. They just lock the ball up out in the wing, plenty of stoppages, drop a few back and make sure that Montrose don't get anything going forward.
Here is Garner. He waited for the ball to hit him on the chest so he didn't have to extend the arms too far. Thumping kick from Damien Garner, but Weatherly had that kick well scouted and safely takes the mark. Goes short. Demons from half back. Short pass is on to knee. Goodman. Sam Goodman's kick inside 50. Good discipline spoil then from Willoughby. Edwards was confronted, got his handball off to Condello. Fondello's kick to full forward. Cook had 3 bites of the cherry. Can he drag it in? Not quite. And Willoughby manages to force the ball up. He was shaping up for the big mark then, Adam Cook. Ball up right on the deep in the heart of the goal square. And they still haven't managed to force it through here, Rowville.
And the umbrellas go up as the rain comes back down.
Very dark.
That would be the goal right now, is to force it through. And that's exactly
a free kick.
Deliberate.
Yep. Straight out of the contest, can't do it.
He can't do it on the full as well. Yep.
So a bit of a brain fade. I think that might have been Damien Garner there.
Yep, definitely was.
It's not a rule you see happen often.
No.
When it does happen, it seems to be at crucial stages in games.
Saw it at a radio game earlier in the year, I believe.
Doncaster East, yep.
So Dean Stephen has slotted through the easy goal. And as you say, Damien Garner, he meant well, but it was a crucial mistake, and it's cost Montrose, or cost Rowville a goal, I should say. Rowville now 7-8-50, Montrose 6-3-39.
That's a coach killer and a half, Connor.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I said you'd tear your hair. Not sure he's got any hair left, but that one would have killed Paul Monner. But they're still in front, which is the important thing in these sort of conditions. The lead is where you need to be.
Well, the D's only need 2 goals. They're down by 11 points. They're not quite done with just yet of the Montrose Football Club. Ball back in the middle, socket off the ground by the Hawks, not called in danger by the umpire. The crowd wanted it. Walsh attacked the footy well. Picks it up now, feeds out a hand pass to Frawley. Great bump though by Dean Stephen as Frawley was about to do it. But even better by Frawley to come back up, kick towards Morris. Didn't get an accommodating bounce, but he'll get the free kick.
Yeah, he just got held onto there, Cody. He threw his hands up and made sure the umpires saw it and got the whistle accordingly. But how good was Frawley? He rode that bump. Was a heavy hit too, but he was straight up, won the footy back and pumped it forward. And hopefully Morris can give him the reward he deserves.
So he's kicked 3 goals today, Cody Morris. He really should have had 4, but this will make it hard for the D's. Morris comes in and makes no mistake. And look at the Randy Orton-style celebration for all those WWE fans out there. Morris kicks his 4th, and Rowville get their first of the final term. 8-8-56 the Hawks. Montrose 6-3, 39, 17 points the margin. Just over 9 minutes gone in the final term of this Senior Division 2 Choose Tap Grand Final. Yeah,
all 3 of you wrestling fans might have enjoyed that one, but you can see that was a bit of relief on Cody Morris, I reckon, as well. Needed a bit of redemption for their missing that early one. If he's got the monkey off the back, as the rain comes down even heavier, that might do it for the Hawks.
Well, 2 out of the 3 of us know who Randy Orton is, so I think there's a fair few more than just 2 or 3 wrestling fans out there, Connor.
Stay on topic.
Goodman got it to Weatherly. And we'll have a boundary throw in out of side of Jubilee Park. Look at the wind get a hold of those flags.
I just took my headphones off for a tick, gentlemen. I just heard the rain coming on the tin roof here at Jubilee Park. It is pouring down.
Certainly, just judging by those flags behind where the play is at the moment, certainly the strongest the wind has been at any stage today. So conditions are progressively getting worse. And as it stands, Rowville, they're in the box seat, 17-point lead. It's going to be so hard to bridge that gap in these conditions. Even if Montrose can get something of a run on as Hardy kicks it forward up towards the wing. Garner belts it forward. That's the way to go in these conditions. Doesn't have to be pretty, just get it. Just get some metres for your side, and that's what Damien Garner did. And in the end, another boundary throw in. Coming up to 11 minutes gone in the 4th and final quarter of this Division 2 Grand Final. Rowville 8 goals, 8. Montrose 8 goals. Montrose 6 goals, 3. And the free kick has gone the way of the Demons. Looks like Weatherly. Jaden Weatherly for Montrose. Kicks to the wing position. There's a player down for Rowville. And there's a bit going on. Not sure how that incident happened.
Yeah, Powell's down.
So that was certainly off the footy, but strong grab there from the Rowville player.
Kidner?
That's Sean Makers.
Oh, it is too, sorry.
So Sean Makers, up and under kick, but it's going to have to come back. There is a bit of a hold up here. Powell is in a pretty bad way. It wasn't in the marking contest. He was already on the deck when the ball landed in that area. So just as the players assembled for the marking contest, there was this body lying on the ground in front of it, which was James Powell. So I'm not sure how that came about. In any event, the ball is with Nicholas Schoenmakers for Rowville. He's got the strapping on the right shoulder. A lot of Hawks seem to go with the shoulder strapping. So Schoenmakers, he's taken the 25-metre penalty as well. Hoists it very high, big pack, fly for it. Crozier was stripped of the footy. That was good work there by Weatherly, big high up and under kick. And what a wonderful mark there by Frawley. Just running back with the flight of it. He didn't know what was coming. And he safely dragged in the mark.
Has certainly lifted after you potted him early, Brad.
Short pass is on from Frawley. Chases it down now. Got it to Hardy, back to Frawley. And a nice mark taken by Andrew Nee. As the Demons will look to come out of defence once more. Nee's kick to the wing, massive pack of players. Well, I wouldn't say I potted him, but I've been listening to Ray Baird talk him up all year. And never an EFL Sunday goes by without Alex Frawley getting a mention and glowing praise. So I did come expecting a lot. He certainly had a good second half. As the free kick will go to Mark Hardy for the Hawks. Benny.
Thanks, Brad. Is the Silver Fox himself in game number 377, actually turns 41 tomorrow. Fantastic effort by Mark Hardy. The ball's on the outer side, and as if on cue, Brad Henderson, Alex Frawley has the ball at left half forward, up towards the full forward area. Morris from about 5 deep, couldn't quite hold the mark. Montrose will look to rebound at a defensive 50, and they simply just need a goal from this play. High kick towards the wing, dropped by Bussey. Montrose, if they're clean, can go get and go. Taken here by Goodman, and the umpire crosses himself. That was Sam Goodman on that occasion who had the ball.
Just haven't found any space in this second half, Montrose. Rowville have been really good with their tackling around the contest and just really choked the life out of them. Which
is unbelievable considering how big this Ringwood ground is as well. As the umpire pays, well, they must have taken it at the same time because it was a clean grab from both players. So the umpire just says, "Start, mate. Let's ball it up," and that's exactly what he does. As Rowville get the tap down, and Montrose able to get it out here through Rickard, who's been everywhere today, been one of Montrose's best. Towards Truce in the wing, lands in the arms of Damien Garner though, and umpire once again calls for it. So just a score update. It is Rowville 8-8-56, leading Montrose 6-3-39. 15 minutes gone here in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final. A few nervous Rowville supporters amongst us at the moment. Can they hold on? The Hawks now through Garner. Kick, not great. Picked up by the D's, and a high kick towards Truce and half forward. Went about 30 metres high, 5 metres forward. Picking up there was Jai Goodman, but he wasn't able to get another clean possession away.
And another thing, it looks like that wind advantage has really dropped away from Montrose as well. It seems to be blowing across the ground rather than favouring one end, and it's hurting them at the moment.
Certainly is, and what's going to hurt them now is Powell's kick up towards half forward, but the D's able to pick it up as well. Comedy of errors in the last 5 minutes. No one able to take clean possession. Here's an opportunity for Frawley. Stripped by the D's, and they'll look to rebound now. The bounce into the Jubilee Park turf was a bit risky, and they bring it out towards the fat side for the first time in a long time. Cook played for the free kick and won it. And the fans didn't like that one in the Jubilee Park grandstand, and he'll take the free kick 55 metres out.
really vital moment in the context of the game here. The D's really have to kick a goal if they're going to be any chance of getting back into this one.
He wants to pass it off, and he's going to get a man in Edwards. And Barney, one of the most experienced men on the ground today, 28 years of age, Michael Barney Edwards, can go back and put through his second goal. He would be the only multiple goal kicker for Montrose today. Must start it to the left-hand goal post. A veteran with the club. This to give his club's chance of making Division 1 in 2013 a big chance. He starts it left and it stays left. And it's through for a minor score. That's a huge miss for Montrose. And it's Roval 8-8-56, leading Montrose 6-4-40. Almost 17.5 minutes gone here in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
He just hung that one out to the left and waited for the wind to do its work, and it let him down, unfortunately. A bit fluky out there at the moment, the conditions, and geez, Montrose look like they're in trouble now.
Kinder's kick intended there for Walsh, and Montrose able to force a spoil, so 17.5 minutes gone in the final quarter. Haining wins yet another ruck contest. Straight back over the boundary line.
Start thinking of your best players, gentlemen. 3, 2 and 1 for the blue ribbon medal. Of course, the DVD call team and the radio team will come together and decide the blue ribbon medalist today.
Yeah, pretty wide open.
Yeah, no easy task today. Very even sort of performance from both sides.
Chance here for the Hawks. Jackson got it off. Ball carried over the head then of Hicks, and Beninga was there in opposition. So boundary throw-in, 16-point lead for Roeville. A lot of players around the footy. Allen was all wrapped up. So free kick goes to Frawley. Alex Frawley for the Hawks. Just leans back on the kick. Morris flew for it.
Here he is.
Scanlon bends the kick back, bounces and touched through finally by the Montrose defence. Some nervous moments back there, and that would have just about put the game in doubt.
One more goal at that end of the ground and this game's over, and I can tell that Mr. Waterworth is very keen for Luke Scanlon to kick that goal.
Very, very keen, and but Montrose are keen from their end to try and get the ball down into their forward 50 as soon as they can, and it's Sam Goodman who brings it out towards left half back. Kicks now and receives the 1-2. High kick over the head of Cook, but he used his body well, read the ball. Can it stay in for him? He paddles it in front of himself, but the ball trickles over that white paint and over for a boundary throw-in right in front of us here in the broadcast position. Montrose 6-4-40, Roeville 8-9-57. 17 points is the margin.
The clock's the problem for the D's now. 20 minutes gone.
Yep.
Not going to be a lot of time on, so really desperate stuff now for the Demons.
Need a goal from this stoppage. No excuses. They might get it as well. Trying to get his way through here was Goodman to no avail.
Yeah, well.
And umpire sees it. We'll have a ball up 55 metres out from goal. D's simply need the next one. No excuses at all. They might have a foray inside 50. It's a beautiful kick as well. Mark to Stephen. High kick towards the top of the goal square over Schilling. Said he might get in the crumb though. Billy Schilling, snap around the body, goal!
Well, we said they needed the goal, and there it is. All of a sudden, back within 2, and there's still time on the clock. We could be for a real thriller here, Benny.
Billy Schilling kicks his second goal. Cometh the moment, cometh the man. And Montrose are not done with yet. Roeville 8-9-57 to Montrose 7-4-46. 11 points the margin. 21 minutes gone here in the Senior Choose Tap Grand Final for season 2012. Ball back in the middle. Garner of the Mitch variety, though, might have other ideas. Kicks inside 50 and taking the mark at the fall of the ball for the Hawks.
Tell you what,
Let's catch Nathan Hicks.
They've struggled in the ruck today against the big fella Andrew Haney, but what a time to win a clearance.
Yep.
And Mitch Garner followed up his own footy and delivered one forward. Didn't look like much off the boot, but he found his teammate and Gee, how big could this be?
In the second half, every time Montrose has kicked the goal, Roval have managed to respond. And that could come to fruition once again with Nathan Hicks, who's already kicked 1 goal today. And this is off to the right-hand side. So 2 goals straight is the margin. Murmurings of extra time, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It's Roval 8-10-58 to Montrose 7-4-46. 22 minutes gone, Brad Henderson.
Thanks, Benny, as Beninga brings it out to this broadcast side wing. Big fist then from Bussy. A lot of players around the footy once more. A massive pack of players diving in. Makara there on the bottom of the pack. And shovels it out, but it was going nowhere. So it'll be balled up once again. 12-point lead to Roval. There's a whistle. No, Haining wins the tap. Roval had front position, had 2 players after the footy. Davey got to it first. And going on there at the bottom of the pack, but the umpire right on the scene. Throws it up. Big kick forward by Walsh. The Demons through Weatherly come out of defence. Weatherly's kick to centre half forward position. This is looking promising. Quick kick forward by Lindgren. The Hawks will steady. Garner, thumping kick. Gee, that's effective at this stage of the game. Weatherly will get to it first though. Good one-on-one contest, and the umpire right on the scene to call for a ball up.
It's a massive win for the Hawks there because the Demons were away if that ball came out, and with 23 and a half gone, this time's running out for the Demons.
Haining wins the tap, got it down to Weatherly. Weatherly just overran it slightly. It's all the Hawks. This stage on the scoreboard, they lead by 12 points. Big fist by Edwards. Ball in open space. Giorgio led the race to the footy. Handball back to Garner. And it'll be a boundary throw in once more.
That's what Montrose are going to have to do. They can't afford to let this ball get bottled up and have stoppage after stoppage. They're just going to have to knock it forward and hope the ball bounces their way.
So Gardel against, Haining in fact comes in from the side. Quick kick. Oh. Watson couldn't quite drag the mark in. And Knee tries to rip it out of the hands then of Davey. 12-point lead still for Roval. Haining, yet another ruck win for him. Goodman throws it on the boot, just belts it forward, and Watson on a long lead takes the mark. Quickly turns around Watson. Tried to just measure a pass there to Schilling. Willoughby interfered with him. No, free kick. And again, the umpire, pretty quick on the whistle that time, calls for a ball up.
We really have to give it to Gav Willoughby today. Billy Schilling had a day out a couple of weeks ago, but he's played Schilling quite tight. No, the delivery hasn't been so good to him, but Gavin Willoughby's certainly been one of Roval's best players today.
Yeah, he's had a bit of help down there with the extra man coming across, but the double team have done a very good job on Schilling because we haven't called his name very often since that first quarter.
So back into play once more. Haining against Garner. Haining belts it forward. Damien Garner this time gets a push in the back, I think. And probably the fact that he crashed into the fence just accentuated the impact then of that infringement. Made sure the umpire saw it in a way. And Damien Garner takes the resulting free kick. Kicks to half back. And this is when the icing of the clock begins. Mark Self safely held there by Davey. So Matt Davey just kicks down the line, the safe kick at this stage of the game. Langdon had his kick smothered then by Frawley. And Frawley, the number 26 Guernsey, speaking of 26, it is 26 minutes gone in the last quarter. Not much time left as Roval lead still by 12 points, Benny.
So the Hawks look like at the moment they're going up to Division 1, barring a miraculous Montrose comeback that would see us go into extra time. And
would take a miracle from here, Benny. I reckon there's not too much time left on the clock.
Showmakers a little unrealistic in his attempt there. Almost gave away a free kick. Stephen put his head over the football, but another stoppage. Close to a world record amount of stoppages in the Eastern Football League today.
And as it is, but every stoppage now brings the Hawks every second closer to a premiership.
Yep.
So they won't mind with this. They'll be happy to hear the whistle go every time.
Haining got the tap down, been outstanding for the D's today. But Mark Hardy again at the bottom of almost every pack. Gets a kick forward, but only as far as Stephen. His high left foot kick goes very high. And almost a mark taken by the D's. Can they try and get the ball moving here? The player ducked his head but wasn't able to get a clear possession away. And we'll see a ball up in the middle of Jubilee Park. Roval 8-10-58 lead. Montrose 7-4-46. Almost 27 and a half minutes gone. Haining took it out of the ruck and bombed it forward, looking for a mark, but to no avail. Once again, that Roval defence, who has been so solid all day, goes up towards Trucinawing, through the hands of Mark Hardy. But the experienced man kept his feet, and he's so good at doing. And he sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds, right in front of the interchange gates.
He's right on track for the best birthday present there is, isn't he, Mark Hardy? 41 tomorrow, and geez, he doesn't play like a 41-year-old, that's for sure.
He's moving very, very nicely as Haining got the tap down straight into his teammate's face for a Falcon. Ball comes down. That time Hardy slipped as he went for the ball, and a high kick inside 50 from Garthwaite towards Cook. Couldn't quite take the mark. He had hands to it. And now's a long kick towards Morris on a searching lead. He's got no one in front of him. He'll just have to ice the clock.
Got one wide. Doesn't want it.
Doesn't want it. Look at all the Roval players in defence telling him to hold on to the footy. And Mark Hardy has got the ball.
Just have to be sensible now and the game's over.
Siren. Be fitting if the siren went now, wouldn't it?
Certainly would. And there it is! And the celebration from Mark Hardy. Roval will move up to Division 1 in season 2013 with a win today. Roval 8-10-58, defeating Montrose 7-4-46. Congratulations to Paul Minot and the Roval Football Club.
Bit of class there from Mark Hardy too. His teammates are celebrating. First thing he did was to give his condolences to the Montrose opponent, but a deserving man to have the footy at the end of the day, and gee, what a performance from Roval.
So there it is, Roval up to Division 1 in season 2013. Winners today by 12 points in the Division 2 Senior Choose Tap Grand Final.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the Roval Football Club, premiers for season 2012 in Division 2. To present the medals and to present the cup as well, I'd like to call upon a member from the EFL board, Kerry Freer. Today, the EFL recognises and supports the work of the Blue Ribbon Foundation. The Blue Ribbon Foundation honours the memories of those Victoria Police men and women who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Today, the player judged the best on the ground in all three of today's grand finals will receive the Blue Ribbon Medal. And the winner of today's Blue Ribbon Medal for the best on ground is number 26, Alex Frawley. And now for the Premiership medallions. Number 4, Damien Garner. Number 5, Matthew Stanley. Number 6, Jesse Owen.
He still gets the medal.
Number 7, Nathan Hicks. Number 8, James Powell. Number 10, Max Makara. Number 11, Brendan Walsh. Number 12, Troy Allen. Number 13, Jake Ryle. Number 14, Nick Schoenmakers. Number 15, Matty Jackson. Number 17, Adam Zigerink. No, not here. Number 18, Gav Willoughby. Number 20, Cody Morris. Number 21, Steve Giorgio. Number 22, Matt Davey. Number 23, Michael Bussey. Number 26, and the blue ribbon medalist, Alex Frawley. Number 28, Mason Crozier. They get one anyway. Number 29, Matthew Watson. Number 33, Mark Hardy. Number 34, Jay Kidner. Number 36, Mitch Garner. Left. Number 49, Luke Scanlon. The football director, Mark Hamilton. And the captain, number 2, Robbie McEwen. Yeah, it's got the coach left. And the coach, Paul Minot. Sorry, guys. I now ask Paul to say a few words.
Okay. To the Montrose Footy Club, I know it's pretty tough for them to deal with right now. But to Brett Johnson and the Montrose Footy Club, the game was played in great spirit with the two, obviously the two better sides throughout the year. And unfortunately, there's got to be a loser and there's got to be a winner. And we were the winners today. To the Ringwood Footy Club and the Eastern Footy League, fantastic job running the finals, and we love this ground. Mertz put us back here next year, mate. We love this joint. So next year's First Division finals are going to be here because we're going to be in it, boys. No, seriously, boys, just calm it down a bit tonight, and to the boys, it's not about the 22 that played today. You represented the community, you represented the footy club, and I'm really proud of every single one of you. You battled through the hard stuff today, and I knew you would. So congratulations, and let's enjoy the night, for God's sakes.
Thanks, Paul. Congratulations to Roval, 2012 Division 2 Premiers.